What is up, podheads? Back with another episode of the Podioslave podcast. My name is Tony, joined, as always, by Anthony.
I'm here.
And we're in person.
We are in person in the flesh. I didn't know we could do this still.
No, it doesn't happen often. I think the last one was with Dave and Kevin.
That's right.
At the studio, probably, around 20 episodes ago. But we're also with Kevin.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I'm the one that brings you guys together.
I know.
Yeah, you are.
I'm like, you know what's good for adult men? Is time with adult men in person.
Yes, absolutely.
So when I was leaving the house, I had my little box of tricks with all the cables and shit. And my kids are like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to Kevin's house to talk with Tony." And he's like, "What are you gonna do there?" And I was like, "I'm gonna talk and record it." And like for a 3-year-old brain, he's probably like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah. But yeah, we're in person. We're hanging out. We're recording. We're gonna talk about MGMT's Oracular Spectacular, but we're also going to talk a little bit about Kevin's music because a single is out now. We're recording it before it's dropped, but the single is out and we've heard it. It's awesome, and we're excited for other people to check it out. So that's kind of the order of operations tonight.
Yeah, and so it's under the name Project Manager, PRJCT MGR.
Yes, correct.
All right.
Yep.
Which fits the MGMT.
Yeah, it actually does.
It all fell into place pretty quickly when we were talking the other day.
Yeah, I think you had thrown a couple albums, and I was like, I think that's the one that we could ramp up in no time on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so let's take us back. So when was the last time you like recorded and put out music? And you don't have to give the history, but just years. Like
on a project of my own, it would have been 2010.
Wow.
It would have been the last Head Start EP that I would have been fronting something or been like an actual part of. Like Spose, Dave, Gutter, there's a bunch of people that have kind of kept me around and allowed me to hang out and contribute to some pretty cool shit, which definitely kept me probably alive. Definitely sane, potentially alive. But yeah, it's been 15 years since I dropped something.
Wow.
It's insane. It's insane. You want to talk about how old you can feel, how quickly? When's the last time? I got a box of those CDs right behind you, Anthony. You guys want fucking grab bags on your way out?
Hey, I think of time, and I've said this recently, in pod years and like pod episodes.
Yep. Me too.
It's like, when was episode 250? Well, it's a year ago. It was 50 episodes ago.
Yeah. So what led you to want to do this again?
Yeah, so when Head Start kind of started winding down, it was also the same time that my wife and I had our daughter. And it was also the time I started thinking I needed to change jobs, which can be tough. And so I already had like pretty limited time. You know, if you have kids, you understand. And then when I got the new job that I have now, I said I'll take like a year off completely because I got to focus on this job. I got to figure this out. It's a pretty intense situation. But I did not think it would be 10 years. So that's what led me back to it is all of the people I just mentioned. So I grew up around the Rustic guys, and I grew up around on the local music scene since I was a kid. And so just being around that and then really kind of naively thinking that part of my brain wouldn't like actually shut off.
Yep.
But creativity is a quickly destroyed thing in like the corporate world and the parental world. Like that flame can get extinguished like pretty quick if you're not careful. So really, it was a couple years ago, we were doing our podcast, the Speak All Evil one, at the studio that you guys have been at a couple times now. And I've always had access to that place as well. Thank God. So for actually almost like 30 years now, we've had spots over there, but almost 20 for that building or for that particular studio. And so being around that, and then a couple years ago, one of the guys that was co-running it with Dave was moving to LA. And so I stepped in and was like, okay, this might be like a good time for me to see if I know how to write a song still.
Right.
Okay. Yep.
And then with the advancement in technology, and I've always been like a tech nerd, but always super intimidated by like the recording technologies. I don't know why. I have no idea. I think about it every day about how easy I find it now.
Yeah.
And why it took me so long to just not believe in myself that I could do it. So anyway, just started shaking the cobwebs off like a year ago, and got my own little setup, and you guys are sitting in the enhanced version of that now. And yeah, I woke up. It's dangerous. The reason the reason I wanted to take some time off like a decade ago is because it's a dangerous part of my brain to be awake. It doesn't sleep ever. And
Pod
so
never sleeps. Music never
yeah, it
sleeps.
just becomes like a part of my brain that like I'm fighting, the attention span on. So thank God though, I did decide to shake the cobwebs off. They did come off. Everything was still there. It is like
That's
riding a
cool.
bike.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and I'm really, really honestly just like stupid excited to be this age, but to feel like I did when I was like 12.
Wow.
And
You
just
can
started
recreate
to
that.
like,
You hit a
make-
home run.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like, wow, this is what it feels. This is what it felt like to not have any expectations, to not give a shit if you can or can't do it. There's like no consequences. I'm definitely not a young man out there like, playing with 19 other bands my age. There's nothing. Like I was just like, I wonder if I can write a song. Okay, this is fun again. Oops. There's
Yeah.
like 50 songs.
Yeah, yeah, right. And then the floodgates open and you're just back at it.
So at the time this episode comes out, one song's already out. We'll link it in the show notes and all that. Did you play everything on the album? Or it's an EP, right?
No, the first album that's going to be coming out will be called The Day Job.
Okay.
And the single Project Management, which management is spelled MGMT.
Yeah, perfect.
Suitably. Not everything on that one, just about everything. On the album, it is almost everything that you hear started here, where we're sitting right now. And then this first album that's coming out, I would take it to the studio that you guys have also been to, and Dave co-produced the entire thing.
Nice.
And so that particular song was a really fun moment early on, like probably 4, 5, 6 songs in, where Dave was just like, what do you even do for work? And because we were having like a brainstorm session on lyrics. Because a lot of times when you can start a song, like that song started with music and like an early morning here. And then I turned that mic, one of the mics they're down here on, and I just like la'd the vocal melodies, and then brought it right over to Dave's house and was like, I have this song and I have the melodies. I don't know what it's about. And then he was like, what the fuck do you do for work? And I was like, I don't know. Like some people call me a project manager or something. And then we just started riffing.
Nice.
Yep.
That's all it takes, right?
Yeah, and it really is all it takes. Like, is once you get like the topic, it's no different than like writing an essay or something. You got to have a fucking topic to stick to. So that particular one, yeah, just what everything that you hear is going to be between Dave and I, and most of that first album. Like everything you hear started here, and then would just go to the studio, and just that's when like the production would start. Yeah,
I think this is probably either a Podioslave first or a Podioslave second, where we're sitting in the space where it was like originally created.
What was the first?
Maybe with Dave. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
if he did
probably
it
with
all
Dave.
there, but
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't happen often. Isn't
Yeah,
that the
everything
point?
on Dave's new album, majority, 90%, I would say. He can correct that, but yeah, it would have been done right where you guys were sitting there. So literally between here and there, 100% of the first album.
I
I'm
love
gonna
that
be
shit.
putting
I
out.
love nerdery. I love being, being able to rub elbows with that stuff. And
Yeah, but I can like the project management single where you're sitting, Tony. There's a really catchy lead guitar line. Dave might get mad at me for like outing him like this. He wrote that on a laptop, right where you're sitting. So I was doing some vocals here, getting through like I think the bridge and doing some stuff on the keyboard. And Dave, he didn't have access to a guitar that he could plug in, so he was actually writing that entire like bam, 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 like lead guitar line on a laptop, and was like, check this out, like.
oh wow,
There's that technology that you're afraid of, or you
Right,
were,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really dangerous. It's really dangerous to have this much at your fingertips. I mean, you guys are sitting here. It's nothing special, but everything that you've heard, and I sent you guys a bunch of stuff from the albums that will come out after this, like that is 100% being done, like right where you're sitting. Like I don't have to outsource anything. I probably will at times. There are better players than I, fucking for sure.
What about on the mixing engineering front? Is that you too?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, for now. I mean, this first one is done. Dave mixed that whole thing, and that'll be coming out. But yeah, we'll see. Like some of the other stuff, I'm having a blast learning sort of that side of it, like some of the EQs and some of the more like technical aspects of mixing beyond just like, that sounds good, and using your ear. So I'm having fun doing that. Who knows? I mean, I got all the time in the world. So there's still the John Wymans, there's still the Adamayans. There's so many people that I'm lucky to still have in my life that I could just call and be like, you want to take a peek at this? Because you could probably beat the hell out of it compared to what I'm doing. But honestly, part of it, like this like childlike wonder that I have again is like, fuck, when I was like 20, I never would have dreamed of being like, I'll take a stab at mixing that. That would have crippled.
Oh, yeah.
Like put me on stage with a mic in front of 10,000 people and I would have been more confident than like, Kevin, can you mix these vocals real quick? I would have crumbled.
I guess the moral of the story is there's a lot of really cool and talented people in Maine, and we're happy that you're on the podcast to tell us all about it.
I mean, you guys are one of the, meeting Anthony and stuff and just still finding people that are like, oh, wait, music speaks that way to you too? Oh, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous thing. It's no different than our horror podcast. If I like roll into a party, I'm not like necessarily going to be stealing the show, but if I find someone that I can talk about like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with, I'll ruin your fucking life for 3 straight hours.
Your night's over.
I don't need anything else, like nothing else.
Well, that's cool though, because you're at a point, I mean, we're all a little older now and we all kind of know what we are and what we like, and you were able to kind of connect the old version of you with the adult version of you, right? I mean, you're an adult then too, but let's be real, we're adults now.
Right? Yeah, sure.
Confirm.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe adult back then.
I could legally buy a pack of smokes and a beer.
Right, but
I didn't know shit about the world.
yeah, exactly. Right. So it's cool that you're able to kind of bridge the gap between those two worlds and are confident in what you are doing versus, being 22 and not knowing as much as we know today. Experience is the best teacher with that stuff.
Yeah. And I would think like you probably have a vision and you know enough people that you can kind of plug in. Like it's cool, right? You couldn't have done this probably until now.
I mean, that honestly is both of what you guys just said is kind of has my head swimming a little bit. Like connecting the old to the new can be dangerous sometimes.
Yeah.
Because we are adults now. We are, I think, smarter. I think more responsible. We know more about the world. But it's very dangerous because you can quickly fall into a coulda, woulda, shoulda mindset that can just start crippling this like new like faculty of wonder that you've discovered or reawakened. And then, it's you can plug into that stuff now, Anthony, but we always could.
True.
Like the other thing that I'm realizing is it's not normal that I was like 12 and I saw Aces Wild, this trio that would become Rustic Overtones, and then just watched that or went and saw Twisted Roots or snuck into the back of Zoots and was watching like Sam Black Church, like I thought that was normal. I thought, and then I thought it was normal that you had a radio station like CYY that would play your shit. I thought it was normal that you had a retail chain like Bull Moose that would sell your shit. Like that was normal to me.
Yeah.
So it's even harder now. CYY doesn't play your shit anymore. Like they've gone through a couple like corporate buyouts. Like Mark Curto is still holding the line with like Spin Out on Sundays, but dude, you used to be able to walk in and get a meeting with like the GM and be like, I would like this song in rotation. And they would be honest. They would be like, no. But if it was good, they'd be like, fuck yeah, why not? Bull Moose is a little bit tougher now. They're still the best, thank God. But that's a little tougher. Like everything's a little bit harder or a little bit more expensive. Like, so yeah, we can plug into that stuff. But man, I was spoiled.
Oh,
like crazy spoiled.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. It's like back then, at least for me, you were naive enough to just ask. When now you're an adult, it's like, do I, can I, should I, and all this stuff, right?
And maybe if I had done this like 4 or 5 years ago, I still would have felt that way, but I have absolutely nothing to lose now, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you don't give a fuck.
I'm old enough to understand that you ask something and the worst you're going to hear is no.
Yeah. Yep. We got there.
We got there. Yeah.
We got.
And we I think we started the podcast with that, right? Like it was, we might as well just ask people because
100%.
Whatever. They don't answer an email or a DM. Okay.
Life goes on.
Well, yeah. Like we can still do stuff.
And part of like the access too. So you got to figure not only. So when I was super young, I thought you had to live in LA or you had to live in New York or maybe even like punk rock London. And that was it. And then I moved to Gorham. I meet these other bands and I'm like, well, shit, you can do that. I don't have to be from LA. That's cool. And then, like I said, you have all of these bands that are killing it and like mentoring. You have the radio station, you have all that stuff. That's crazy for a town like Portland. But then right around the time that Head Start was starting to get less and less, like all of us were investing less time in that, then you had the explosion of the internet. So you had the explosion of, it used to be the old model, which we had access to, which I'm very lucky now, to have realized how rare that was. But you had the old model where you did need someone to play you on the radio.
Yep.
You did have to do things kind of like the old way. And then in the early aughts or so, it exploded. Pure volume hit. Everybody that was making any type of bad, shitty, terrible music could throw something up on Pure volume. And if you wanted to pay, you could splash page that. You could do whatever you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think waiting this long too, it's kind of nice that I don't like where like the digital musical landscape has gone in terms of royalties, but they have sorted their shit out enough so that I wade through less garbage now.
Yep.
So it was like we had like access back then, and then there was like too much access, and now it's like I don't have the local access that I once had, but I think I can figure out now how to navigate this digital landscape where I don't have to be played on the radio. I can go figure it out sitting in the same chair that I make the music in, send the emails out and do all that. Same thing that I'm podcasting from right now. Like, sounds lazy, but I can really do anything from this seat.
Well, and it's not lazy. It's just a matter of a different game that you're playing than we did. You had to hit the pavement. You had to go to places and give it to people. You had to show them that way. Now it can be done over the internet. It's a little bit different, but you still got to grind. And you still got to find people that want to take a chance on listening to it or putting it somewhere.
So when does the album come out?
TBD. I mean, I'm just starting. It's funny, like the music. I think if like you knew like the Head Start days and stuff, it would be assumed that I'm just this like super outgoing. Like I was the front man breaking bones and launching myself off of everything, screaming at the audiences. Like I kind of hate everything other than making the music and doing that in the moment. So like I'm just starting to do like the photo shoots. I'm very lucky. Speaking of connected, like Robin Canner did the front and back art. I mean, she just did, like Biden Harris campaign, like
crazy.
kind of a big deal back in, 2020. And she's a homegrown, old Head Start fan. So lucky. I hate that stuff though. It makes me super nervous. So I'm just starting to do the things that you kind of have to do. Like you need pictures, you need this, you need artwork and things like that. So I'm tapping into those resources and getting that done. The single will be out for sure when this comes out. And I don't know. I mean, I've got a lot of content. And I'd like to get some video content and some things like that. It's no rush, it's no rush. I mean, it's all done. It's all set up. I just want to kind of see what feels right, what feels right to me.
We'll link whatever's out at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the write-up, if there's a date, we won't hold you to it. But if there's one, we'll put it in there.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. And if you're listening in your car, don't try to click on it right this second. Pull over and hit the button and go listen to the song.
So this is exciting. This is, like you said, this is the first in 15 plus years, right?
Yeah, and the song itself was kind of, we've talked before. I think I've definitely I don't know if it made the edit for one of the episodes I was on, but like you guys were about to have like Aaron from AWOL on. There's a lot of these. We talked about Beck, where it's at, and that entire like Odelay album, and you can go back to Mellow Gold, like on one of your episodes. That type of music has always just spoken to me, and it felt so impossible to make like this hybrid of like the rock and roll, but using elements of like hip hop or beat making or synths and things like that. It's
definitely in there.
I've always loved that. So, but I think a lot of people kind of remember me. If you're super old, you remember me from like the Shuffle and Tremble days or the Head Start days, and like the Project Management single was like, Dave and I both felt that this was like a sensible bridge to the rest of the album and to what I'm like subsequently going to be putting out. So it will have flavors of like, yep, sounds like the guy from Head Start, but it's really the only track kind of, out of all of them that really hits that vein.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
I basically live tweeted the songs that you sent me, but in my notes. So it's not actually out.
It's not out there, right?
On the internet. And I won't say the songs, but this is my commentary. XYZ song, classic sounding, almost Beatles-esque or Beach Boys, so good. Another song, great chill vibe. Then there was one that was one of my favorites, which I'm not going to say which one. And then another one was a driving rock punk vibe. And then there's another song that had more of a heavy element to it. So it's all over the fucking map.
Yeah, and that's not the album. So what I sent you guys are like 2 or 3 tracks from 4 finished albums.
There you go. And you could tell, I'll say this, you could tell the difference. You could tell.
Yeah, what went with what? Yeah.
So the chill vibe and the Beatles-esque Beach Boys, that went together. The song where I said was one of my favorites, that went with the driving rock punk vibe, and then
Shocker.
the last one more had a heavier vibe to it.
Yeah. And that's
You
the
could
thing.
tell.
That's
Yeah.
the thing is, you can, now that I have this ability, I mean, I can literally walk downstairs and in like an hour and a half have a skeleton of a song done. So if that month I'm vibing on like the Lemonheads and like the Gaslight Anthem, I can come down here and be like, I'm going to write some songs. And then the next month, if I'm like listening to the shit out of the Deftones or, some heavier stuff, well, I'm going to try that.
Channel it.
And again, there's nothing to lose. Like, I don't care. Like, it's super, super fun.
I texted Anthony this morning. Dude can write a catchy hook. Like, he knows what he's doing there. It's absolutely, it's throughout the stuff that I listen to. So I'm excited for all of that stuff coming.
Nice. Thank you guys. You guys are probably the only people that have heard, like, Dave has probably heard everything. You guys have probably the first two people that have heard, like, all of those songs.
Thank you. I'm honored for that. That means a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, meeting Anthony and then meeting you, Tony, and like the podcast and stuff, it was like, well, they know their music. So
And we're all over the map, so we can vibe with all of it.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily need to send out like the musician to musician where I'm always like, okay, so this is the drums and bass aren't mixed. I'm not really done with the guitar performance. I haven't mixed any of this stuff. It hasn't gone like you're doing all this technical explanations to it. Almost explain how shitty it might sound.
Right.
Exactly.
Instead of just sending it out to like some music heads like yourselves and be like, just fucking take a listen to it.
Yep.
You're vibing it. Like, it's, pretty quickly, like this is good or this is trash.
You're giving commentary to temper expectations.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're like that. It's just like we're on the listener side and not the creation or that side of it. But
We sometimes try to put our producer hats on, even though we have no fucking clue what we're doing there. But we sometimes try. And it's cool, man. I'm excited that you gave us the green light to give a little listen to some of the stuff you've been working on. So thank you.
So with that, we're going to transition into a little MGMT, Oracular Spectacular.
Yeah.
Insert the.
I'll put that there. Yeah. I
We'll
can
do
put
the
that in there.
transition. Where do we want to start here? 2007?
I know. 2007's nuts.
I had to
by the
wiki
way.
that shit, and it was 2007.
Talk about feeling old again. Okay. I feel like that just came out the other day. Nope. It's almost 18 years old. Or it is 18 years old.
Oracular Spectacular. So were you guys fans in the moment when this dropped?
I was so late to this party.
Right
So
on.
late.
Okay.
By the time I heard Oracular, so I heard, I think, the Justice remix of Time to Pretend or Electric Feel, which one of them? And I definitely heard like Kid Cudi's like Pursuit of Happiness.
Yep.
Just digging around, I was in like an electronic vibe, in remix vibe, like, and by the time I heard Oracular, I probably had heard Kids. I don't know that anyone could escape that.
Yeah, right.
And then I saw them on Yo Gabba Gabba because my kid was small.
Kid show, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
And then Congratulations was out. So everyone was talking about this band MGMT and their new album. And then it was my brother-in-law. It was John Roots, who was like, "You don't know Oracular Spectacular?
How
Like,
dare you?
But he's like, you will love that album." So I don't remember what year it was, but it was 2012, 2011,
still-
2012. Like, I missed this completely.
You in the moment? Singles, probably?
In the moment, it's hard to remember if I was like in the moment, but I do remember obviously hearing the big songs. And I remember where my job was at the time. Electric Feel was played a decent amount. I would hear it on like warm up tapes and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, people are starting to dig this. It was like 09.
You
So
mean the certified perfect song?
yeah, it
Electric
is
Feel?
also a certified perfect song, PS3, right? You put that one on PS3. Yeah,
Which one were you on, Kevin? PS5?
he was on PS4.
PS4.
But yeah, I remember being like knowing the big songs because you heard them here and there, depending on where you were and what you were doing. But I don't know if I was like in 07. It was probably more like 08 or 09 for me.
Probably with me. And it was the singles, right? So you had Time to Pretend, you had Kids, and Electric Feel, which
Yep.
murderer's fucking row
great
of
song.
singles. Like they nailed the single. What was interesting, they got signed in like 06, 07. They had the Time to Pretend EP out in 2005, and Kids and Time to Pretend was on that.
Yep.
And I was doing some like time traveling in my mind. I've always put them in the Passion Pit, Block Party, Foster the People world. But if you look at when those bands broke, Block Party was like mid 2000s, but
The
It
others
make-
are after, right?
it makes me wonder what Columbia and Red Distribution, what they saw in this, because if you think of where guitar music was, the bands were still lurking around, post-hardcore, screamo, modern screamo, third wave bullshit, pop punk.
You know who had been around for a little while at this point that I think they kind of camp off of a little bit? Flaming Lips.
Flaming Lips.
Well,
There's a
so-
connection there with the producer.
Mr. Producer.
Yeah. So there's and maybe that was like, let's go that direction once they got the producer. I don't know, but listening to it, I was like, I hear early Flaming Lips, I hear later Flames. So you're right. A lot of those other bands, they definitely launched 1,000 Ships into the teens, early 20-teens. I'm not sure if maybe that was the plan all along, was to go that route. I don't know.
I suspect. I think actually Fridman is a producer. I suspect his influence in maybe song structure creation from a production standpoint is on the back half of Oracular. I think to answer your question, Anthony, what Columbia and those guys saw in him is they can just write a fucking hook.
Yep.
And a lot of those, like that, the kids like keyboard line, like all that stuff is just, it's so innocent and authentic and not overthought. It's not
simple.
pretentious. Like when you can write a hook, you can write a hook, whether it's a vocal hook or, that's something, that a non-keyboard player just starts playing when they're doing. That is having like plugins like they had in their fucking dorm rooms or wherever.
Yeah, right.
Wesleyan
Finding a cool
University.
like synth sound, and it's the equivalent of like us hitting all the buttons on Tekken and winning the match.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's just crazy how simple, but man, that is timeless. And I have never ever thought of them in that regard, but I'm spoiled in that I didn't find out about this album. And one of the reasons, not just like the pop sensibilities, that my brother-in-law was like, dude, is Fridman. I'm obsessed with Dave Fridman.
Okay.
So
He's
like
Flaming Lips. I saw Sleater Kinney, Mogwai.
there is
artists.
on Spotify and I think even on YouTube, there is the Dave Fridman sound. I challenge you. It's audio heaven. He's just always okay. Go like so. He did the blue color of the
checks out,
sky and whatever the follow up to that was. But I've always loved him. I've loved like that type of like blown out like crunchy production, really cool sounds. It goes back to like listening to like the Downward Spiral or something like when I was a kid and hearing Trent Reznor like kind of pushing what like the crispy clean, coming out of the 80s and listening to fucking Motley Crue have everything mid-range and pristine. To me, that's why Nirvana blew the world apart with the opening of Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's like, wait a minute, like this sounds
It doesn't all
different.
have to sound perfect
But
or
Fridman,
cleansed.
like his production is just in Tarbox Studios. There's like a little documentary you can find, I think on YouTube as well, about Tarbox Studios. He essentially built that for the Flaming Lips when he started working with them.
Wow.
And it's just like up in New York somewhere. And, people are always like, man, where would you go if you could go anywhere on vacation? I'm like, fucking Tarbox Studios. Like,
They're
the
like,
Grand
what?
Canyon? No.
No, I don't need to see that. That's not the seventh or whatever, eighth wonder of the world. It's Tarbox Studios.
Well, I saw he did at least one of the Phantom Planet albums, which
Yes, great
Like-
one. My favorite Phantom
like
Planet album.
they're poppy and catchy, but there's a grit. Like if there's a rawness to it, and maybe that's the lineage throughout the whole Fridman catalog.
It's amazing
big
you
time.
brought them up because my wife and I are currently on an OC rewatch right now.
Dude, all time soundtrack, all time fucking.
That I love that. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I love that Phantom Planet. That pops up on that Fridman sound. Some of the Slater Kinney stuff. I mean, he punches you in the face a lot of times with his production. And there's just like a little distortion where it shouldn't be. The drums are usually big and boomy. And, one of the early in his non-Mercury Rev career, because he was the bass player in that band, which they, by the way, have maybe one of the longest Spotify band bios on the entire fucking internet. It's shocking. But one of his early like co-engineering credits was on Weezer's Pinkerton, and that makes total sense.
I see that
Like
now,
when you think about it, especially how the world reacted. Weezer goes from Rick Ocasek in the Cars
Right.
to
No shit.
let's just record ourselves. But there's this guy over here that says he could help us get sounds. Like,
But like, when you first heard them, where did you put them? Because I think looking back,
so I was
definitely
spoiled.
put
I was
them in
spoiled,
that world.
and I immediately was thinking Flaming Lips, Fridman.
Right on. There you go. Okay, you said that.
I think of the Blue Color of the Sky maybe was out at that point as well. Like, I mean, I was thinking, okay, this makes sense. it's Dave Fridman producing it, and these kids are cool. They're nerds. They probably smoke a lot of weed and make songs just because they like it. They're not pretentious, even though they sound it. Like you could take some of the lyrics literally and be like, "What a bunch of pricks!"
On the album art, and like
you could
you
laugh
could
at it.
certainly think it.
And the name, the spelling.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard the original versions of Kids in Time to Pretend? I haven't.
If I have, it's been forever.
How different is it?
It's been a while. It was. I'm sure that they're out there if I could find them. It was when I found out that they had done those songs like in Logic. So like we're recording on Ableton right now. It's essentially Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton. You've got a few DAWs that people record on. When I found out they had done that with all the onboarding effects and like sounds that come with Logic, I was like, shit, I got to go find this and listen to the non-Fridman version of this. I think it's just like a little nerdier and it's a little thinner, obviously, because you don't have the big production behind it. But the essence is there. Like
Yeah.
The
songs are
the breadcrumbs were there. There were early stair steps.
There were early stair steps, breadcrumbs.
Crank magazine subscription.
Stair step.
brought
You
in-
had to get stair step.
They brought in Fridman to get everybody under the tent.
Under
yeah.
the tent. Yeah.
Drink.
I mean,
Crank magazine.
What's the punchline though? The punchline is
All of that to say,
Lead with the end in mind.
but I hadn't thought of the Flaming Lips thing, and the part of this is I'm coming off a wedding weekend, so I'm half I'm half awake at the moment. But the Flaming Lips parallel into listening to it again this weekend to get ready to talk to you guys, and I was like, oh yeah, I couldn't place it, and I was like, Flaming Lips, yep, and then have you tell us it's Fridman. That makes sense.
yeah. I was a late Flaming Lips bloomer as well. So like the Oracular stuff sounds like to me the Soft Bulletin.
Yep.
And so I obviously knew Flaming Lips from She Don't Use Jelly, and then had no idea that they went on to become this like unbelievable, like experimental, like very cool band. So I got back on the train around Yoshimi and was obsessed with that album.
So
like
good.
could not get enough of that. So I had to go back in time to the Soft Bulletin and was like, holy shit, I get goosebumps thinking about like some of the Soft Bulletin sounds are going through my head right now. And it's just like, ah. But that's what Oracular sounds like to me. It's likely the same era-ish. But yeah, I mean, those kids, I hope, I would love to meet them and be like, did you have any idea what you were getting into when you got to go record with Dave Fridman?
And well,
Like,
yeah, I
after
wonder.
doing your dorm room EP? Like,
Well, have you seen the videos that
Oh
go
yeah,
viral
of
all
them
the time?
in front of out
Yeah.
at school and like,
on like the
just,
quad. It's
just
like
these two dudes casually playing one of the biggest songs of the 2000s
Yeah.
or whatever.
with a fucking MacBook or whatever,
Yeah.
GarageBand.
It goes viral like every 3 months.
It does, yeah. And I didn't see it probably a couple years.
yeah,
Someone
so I'll
bring
do
it up.
that after you guys leave. I've never seen this shit. Like, I have no
Yeah.
idea. Like, but it makes sense. You're validating what I felt or what I feel when I listen to MGMT. You're validating exactly what I feel. Is that these dudes just are like, this sounds cool.
Mhm.
Like, you want to do it? Okay, great. Like fearless. It's like naively and almost stupidly fearless, which is heroic in my mind.
Well, and especially at that time because it doesn't fit a lot of what's out at all, really.
Yeah, it predates Passion. The Manners out in Passion Pit.
Yeah.
It predates that. Foster
Plus
the People. Block Party. Maybe they're adjacent to that world, but I mean they were out. But MGMT was already doing this in that
Yeah.
same time frame at the same time. Before this album
the
came
big
out.
stuff was the bands, and yeah, it wasn't like
Yeah.
this was the big sound and they were chasing it. They kind of helped make that a little bit again.
All right, so you guys said perfect songs, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna one up you guys.
No. Immaculate?
Perfect side A.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
thank
well,
you.
yeah, it is.
I
a
have the
perfect
same
band.
exact. I
10
literally.
song.
I have the track list in front of me. I have it boxed off with the note that says "perfect E EP."
It is. Look,
Yep.
Time to Pretend, Into Weekend Wars, The Youth, Electric Feel, Kids. So they hit you with all 3 singles, which, I don't know, you're hip to this stuff. I feel like that's a dumb move, maybe?
No, I mean this is back in like the things were shifting. You got to remember
This is pre-streaming.
this is pre-streaming.
iTunes was out, but
So it's funny. I just today read reviews of the album that came out around the time that the album came out, and I find it hilarious. We were right on the cusp of things going to more of like a single based or EP based.
Yep.
Like mid-aught, things started going EP based, and then it would have been in like the 2010s and stuff. You would have seen like singles and streaming, and you don't have to necessarily put in it. This would have been in the album day, so it's not rare. Like if you think about, go back to a lot of the albums that you have from the album days, you're going to have the singles all
Up
be
front.
before side B.
Or it's like a late single that happens to get out there,
It
right?
didn't mean-
it went
Artist in
nuts,
the
yeah.
ambulance, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it wasn't
or-
meant to be.
Yeah, or it was a total listen, or it was an audience-driven
Audience-driven,
move. Yeah.
or someone at a radio station.
Yes, that being
100%.
said, there isn't a fucking song on the back half of this album that's ever going to trick anyone into being like, that should have been a single.
Right.
True.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
It's a
right.
different vibe.
They put the right ones where they were supposed to be. And I think the iTunes of it all, like in 2007, and how people are like, you're clicking on it, and okay, I see these first couple songs. Let's preview. You're not going to preview number 10 if you don't like number 2.
That's a good point.
You got to put those ones up
You got
there.
to put them up. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Also, I have one word for you guys. And Kevin, I know before we got here, you were like, is there anything on your rider you want? Where's the thingamagoop?
The thingamagoop.
Yeah, I never knew what that
Brendan's
was.
one credit. I mean, if watch the little, I say documentary, I think it's like 20 or 30 minutes. The shit that they're putting in here, like, you know, the Fridman thing, and like Jack Antonoff does this a lot, is they'll have these like synthy sounds and things, but they have all the old analog gear and they're fucking around. So I'm sure it's some fucking pedal or something that they wired 7 ways from what it's actually meant for, and they were like, that sounds neat, like, here, pass the joint, let's hit that thing again, like.
We got to name it.
So I guess they were called The Management before this. And like I look at them this way even now, that there's this mystique and kind of unknownness, right? Because even the cover, it's 2 guys. It's like, all right, is that the band or is that just a couple of randos, right?
Yeah.
You get this 4-letter band name that it's like, should I say Management or is it MGMT? So it's all this stuff that's left open for interpretation that I still love. You know, I think that the whole mysterious thing, and was Congratulations after this?
Yeah.
And that was one that the album cover, they weren't even on it, right? It was more like a cartoon or
Cartoony,
something.
yeah.
So like that mystique kept on. It's like when they tour, is it a full group? Is it all this stuff? Oh, so many questions. And a lot of times when you discover a band, you don't have that many questions.
Well,
It's just like,
it's
this
kinda
is
like
what it is.
It's kind of like the Gorillaz thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's you don't, and that's, again, I think you're just validating why I love these guys. Like, they
Yeah.
don't care about that. Like,
Yeah.
they're
Yep.
not like,
And it's a positive. That's why I'm bringing it up. It's like,
yeah.
it drew me in. And
It
and they
has
get
to work.
tracks.
The songs need to be good. As we always say, they got to have tracks.
You gotta try.
And the other piece of that is, like, you can't be too up your own ass about it. Like, it has to be, you have to actually not care. You
Right.
can't be like, we're pretending to not care so that you guys are intrigued by this, because that doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's true. That's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. You can try too hard to not try.
Yeah. A lot of bands have.
So
Works for some.
they open with Time to Pretend, which is all time,
Mhm.
and then they hit you with Weekend Wars. And as I was listening to this, leading up to this convo, because I would always listen to that song for sure back in the day. I can say that 18 years ago, back in the day.
It is back in the day.
It reminds me of the Beatles, Weekend Wars,
Yeah. A lot of that is very Beatles-ish. Yes.
right? Am I
All
my
the way
mind there?
down, and I would even argue it's like even a little like Pink Floyd-y.
Yeah.
Like, he gives a very Roger Waters vocal delivery on that
Yeah.
one.
You're right.
Very, speaking of, I'm coming off the worst sickness I've had all year. Don't worry, guys, I'm not contagious. Anthony knows I've been fighting this for more than a minute. But this super nasally should be pretentious or douchey or even dramatic or theatrical.
Mm.
But I'm like, nah, this kid's just singing. Like, it's great. It's a weird tempo to have for song 2 after a banger.
Yeah.
Right, Time to Pretend. And then they go into the Youth, where, again, there's a big fuck you. Like, that's how confident they are and like how cool their songs are. That's not a banger either, but I love that song.
Great song.
I feel like a lot of this record, and it makes sense because of where they were as people when they wrote a lot of it, probably, was about this, like, we're going from being kids, being adults, and I don't know if I want to fucking do that, like, at all. And we talked about that earlier with your stuff, Kevin, and just us in general as human beings, you know, being in our 40s. 22, you're like, I don't want to go do that. That sounds fucking terrible. So you write a record about it, and it hit. Like, it hits real. It still hits for me today, you know, 18 years out.
You're giving me hope. That's the challenge. I did go do that.
Mhm.
And then I just wrote a record about what that was fucking like for the
Yeah.
last 15 years.
Yeah.
So side A, side B, different vibes for sure. Do you think, I mean, we know for sure 2 of the first 5 songs were written beforehand, but I'm wondering if side B was written in the studio. Like it feels that way.
It feels that way to me.
Yeah.
It is 270s and not the Floyd or the Beatles. Like it's not 60s, 70s. It is like Fleetwood Mac, fucking Eagles. Like it falls into a strange vibe. There's some pretty psychedelic stuff on side B too. They do the same thing they do on side A, is they kind of weave in some like down tempo numbers and some crazy noises. But the whole thing kind of made me feel like, oh geez, when did this album like get a hairy chest and like aviators? Like it's a little
It
weird.
grew up. Side A to side
Yeah,
B.
exactly. Maybe
All right,
that
I guess
was
I'll go be an
intentional.
adult now.
Maybe that was the move.
If Super Troopers was a
Well,
album.
the two of them are just in a trench coat, one on top of the other. We're adults now.
Other observations here. So I had the. Do you guys have the CD? If I'm remembering, wasn't the CD the cardboard?
I think so, but this is in my alleged non-buying of CDs days. So
Yeah.
good question.
Yeah, I love that.
All alleged.
But so did you have it? The CD?
No, I definitely never had a
I'm
physical
pretty
copy
sure
of
it was
that.
one of the cardboard ones, which, again, if you're, I don't know, I would say over 35, maybe, you kind of know that touching and
Tactile.
touching and feeling a record can enhance
With consent.
with consent can enhance the experience. And I think this is one that did. I think the optics of the band and the artwork and all of that was just perfect, you know? And that's like looking back at it, that's a huge like bump up for them. Like in my weird mind, it's like all the ingredients. It has tracks. Okay, it's up here. If the name stinks, it's down a little bit. If they're pricks, it's down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then like the mystique level bumped, like all of that kind of hit. And it's rare that it does, because like take bands, I'm going to call their ilk, right? The Passion Pits, you know, the name was decent. They had tracks. Foster the People, I think that name kind of, it's okay. But I only heard like maybe one or two songs.
Oh, they got bangers though.
They do,
they?
though,
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
bangers.
that first record's
Okay.
really good.
That's one to dig into. But I think to land this all, it's like everything was kind of firing
Mm-hmm.
for me.
Yeah. I wonder if, and this is always one of those, like, I wish we could ask the question. And maybe someday we will, but I wonder if it was planned that way or it just happened. Like, did every little piece of it get planned out to, like, okay, the optics are going to be like this and the sound's going to be like this? And I mean, there was planning, obviously. There's always planning when you're putting a record together and putting out a rollout, right? But did they know it was all going to hit? Because some bands know first record, like, this may all hit. We're pretty excited about it. We have a really good thing on our hands. And some people don't have any clue. And I wonder, my guess is they did not know.
Yeah,
No, I mean, this was
early
back,
20s.
This would have been right as the old model was like going
Right.
away entirely. There would have been A&R people. There would have been people that were like, this kid's song is something. This Time to Pretend is something. Yeah, there would have been kind of people, but you'd never know if it's going to hit. Because again, the reason the old model went away is you're signing like 100 bands a year and hoping
Yeah.
that 2 of them hit. And you don't know. Like, you have no clue.
I know. And I'm going to say no, because look at those videos of them in college, just
Yeah.
like playing to 6 people.
Just
Like,
having fun.
and I think, and what song was that? Time to Pretend? Or was that Kids?
Kids, I think.
Yeah. So it's like they had a sample, you know, like there was a small survey out there and it didn't hit, you know?
Yeah.
Well, but think about how many bands you could have walked by. You know, how many people have, you know, how many bands or artists have just been busking or doing something, and you know, you don't know.
You don't
like,
know.
Again, with people, you have to be told. I was told MGMT was cool, and it was like, wow. And Dave Friedman produced it. Wow. Like, I went in ready to, if I had walked by them on the quad playing Kids, I might have went, these fucking nerds
Well, yeah.
doing. I need to get to class, or I
Right.
got a party to go to. Like,
No kidding.
Yeah,
Get outta
especially at
here.
that age, right? Like, if you're, 21 years old and you see, even if you know them, well, there they go again. Like, I got to get to history.
Yeah,
I
those
gotta
guys will
get the
never
math.
get laid. Good luck, guys.
Yeah,
See
yeah.
ya.
This
Oh my
isn't
God.
helping you
Yeah.
guys
They're
at
using
all.
GarageBand and Fruity Loops. Oh.
Thingamagoop, baby.
Rolling Stone has this
494?
album at 494
Yeah.
of the 500 greatest albums of all time, which is amazing. So it's not that Rolling Stone is the end all be all, but they've been around a long time, and there's a lot of albums they could have put in there.
So wait, was it GarageBand and Fruity Loops? Am I misremembering that it was I mean, it could have been.
I was just
He's just throwing out software.
Right.
yeah.
I saw the 494 thing too, and like, it seems like, wow, 500 albums, but then you start to, how many albums are there?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. This is a lot of albums. I don't know if it. I mean, I don't know. Those are all subjective lists. They're created today in 2025 to make people argue. But
100%.
but not always. Sometimes people are just trying to like slot stuff, and we do that. We slot stuff every now and then, and we've done our 5 favorite shows. We've done all kinds of stuff. It's certainly amazing that it's on there. A record from I wonder how many are from
last 20 years.
The last 20, 25 years. Yeah,
I would say it's probably appropriately ranked. I was thinking about it because if it wasn't on there, like it's a million fucking records. It makes sense it's not on there. But if it was lower or higher, however you look at it, I'd be like, maybe they're just trying to make a statement. Like, imagine if this came in the top 100. I'd be like, okay, guys.
Yeah, that might be a little.
Rolling Stone, pump it, okay?
If it was an EP, again, if you're gonna rank an album, you got to go 1 to the end.
Yeah.
This one, that would be an unbelievable 5-song EP.
That might be a top 100.
Yeah, exactly. Could be. I mean, those 3 singles alone are just like they're timeless. But yeah, it suffers from the album piece of it.
Yeah, and it's got. I looked it up earlier. Kids has over 1 billion streams on Spotify, and Electric Feel will probably get there this year,
which is kind of cool.
Wow,
surprised.
2 Billy songs. That's insane. And I'm actually surprised Time to Pretend isn't closer.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think it's
the first song on the record too. You'd think.
I think it's like 600,000, something like that. I mean, I'm sure it'll get there over time.
Huh. The other thing about them that I've been pleasantly surprised with, and I felt this because, like I said, I Congratulations was already out by the time I dug into Oracular, is how wildly different every album is. So one of my favorite bands, my favorite vocalist of all time is Mike Patton.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite bands ever is Mr. Bungle.
Mm.
And I mean, Faith No More is up there as well, but like a little bit too on like the metal tip to sort of like totally break into like my faves. But I love any band that will go out there and just totally flip the script. Like, what are they vibing for this album cycle? And MGMT have done that. Like, Congratulations is far more like Beach Boysy.
Yep.
Far more like bebop-y. Reminded me when I was listening to it of like, oh, this is kind of like what Bungle did on like California. And then you get to like the self-titled record, and then you get to Little Dark Age, and it's like almost a throwback to Oracular, but it's darker. And even more to like the humor is aged. It's like harder to even like
what
read.
happens as we get older.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then this loss of life, or this album that they put out last year. Wow, like really, really crazy that they are that courageous to be like, again, kind of validates. I just feel like these are guys that are just like, what are we listening to right now, and what do we want to sit down and like write for songs and cool. And when you're making an album, you do tend to kind of corner yourself into like at least something thematically. Like if you took like 3 songs off of each MGMT album and put it on one, it would be a fucking
It'd be
mess.
weird.
Yeah.
It would be a mess. But I love bands. My favorite thing ever, one of my favorite musical moments ever was by the time I discovered Mr. Bungle, Disco Volante was out there, and California was only like a year or 2 away. And it blew my fucking mind that they could have 3 albums that were that different. So like, forget about searching for those songs that change in the course of like 3 or 4 minutes. For me, having like, wait, you can just do that? You don't have to be Poison. You don't have to have like, nothing but a good time, and then also do Unskinny Bop, and like, wow, this is mind blowing.
Well, and there are a lot of bands that you could grab 3 songs from, maybe they've got 5 records, and you mash them together, and it's gonna work.
Couldn't tell you which album they're all from. Like,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
But-
that adds
but
up.
It's cool when you've got a band who, like MGMT, is like, we don't want to do that at all. We want you to have a different experience with every record that we put out, because it's what we're into right now.
I'm a super novice Mr. Bungle guy. My very quick Mr. Bungle story is a few years ago, I had bought a mini disc player, like a big one, like a Sony one that go, with hook it up to speakers, whatever. And so I wanted to, it's probably 10, 15 years ago. And so I went on Craigslist and typed in mini disc, and someone locally was selling their mini disc collection, which was all just like blank ones that they recorded on. And from the photos, you could see it was a lot of metal stuff and adjacent stuff. So I was like, all right, sweet. So I bought it, and it was a lot of Mr. Bungle. And I put it on, and I was like, I didn't know this is what it was. I thought it was the song. I couldn't tell you the song, but it was more metal and less weird, where other stuff you get into other mini discs, and yes, we're talking about mini discs right now. It was all over the fucking map. So that's my Mr. Bungle story and mini disc story.
So you're definitely hearing the first album. The first album is, for the time, for a metalhead, it would have been weird.
Yeah.
For you now, listening to it whenever you were, no. But the first one was like as close as you're gonna get.
Yeah.
But it's still, it showcased Patton's like his propensity to use his voice for everything other than singing, and then blow the fucking speakers off when he's like, oh, by the way, I can also sing like this, like very percussive, different like, characters with his voice. But the second one, I would challenge you in the next like couple weeks to go just spend like a little bit of time with each Bungle album and see how you feel.
Right.
Blind spot for me too, so I should definitely do that.
Was this pre-Scotty and Mr. Bungle?
Scotty was never in Mr. Bungle. Or is he touring with the version that is today?
He's active.
Yeah, this is why I'm not going to see Mr. Bungle.
Yeah. Yeah, he's with them. So that's our Bungle tangent.
Yep.
What other observations
Come
do you guys
for
got?
Kevin's music, come for MGMT, get Mr. Bungle.
Get Mr.
Leave with Mr. Bungle. Very misleading. If you go listen to my single, you're not going to get any of that.
I know, right? Yeah. We were talking about EPs versus albums. This is something I think we should start doing when we do albums like this, Anthony. Would they have made this an EP, or does it work better as an EP? We know it does. Would they have made it that way in 2025? I think yes. I think they probably are forced to make it. You've got 5 really good songs here. We can put the other ones out later at a different time, but this is going to be an EP.
In today's landscape.
Yeah, but at the time, old model, you're going up to Starbucks Studios, you're paying Fridman, you're going to probably be living there or close by because you're in the middle of fucking New York. You don't just like go book studio time.
No, you're making 10 songs.
You're making 10 songs. Yes.
But in 2025, you're making 5, and maybe you're doing a lot of it on your own, and then you're bringing him in at the last minute.
Yep. Some of the things that I've been pondering about, like what to do with the mixing and the performances and things on some of my stuff is, I literally, John Wyman's voice is always in my head, like from 20 plus years ago. Well, I mean, how many songs do you want to do? Because you're going to need a whole day to set up the drums. It's going to take a whole day to record the drums. And then you're going to, it's like, it is budgeting your time. You're not just going to go set a drum kit up and be like, okay, buddy, go ahead and play 2 songs. And then, I mean, the work to set a drum set up, it physically sucks. I still suck at it. I've been doing it since I was a kid. To mic it up, to get the sounds, to get the performances, to edit the drums.
Room for it, all that stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're doing 10 songs if you're doing it now.
Yeah. This is a lot of, we've done a bunch of album deep dives. If we went back through the lens, like what ones would have been just 5 songs if they were to trim the fat?
I mean, the one that I was on, American Idiot, it was pretty obviously going to be an album. It's a concept record, I mean, you could take like I don't know, I'm thinking like another concept album more recently, like The Black Parade. You're not going to make an EP necessarily out of that, but could you have out of like 3 Cheers?
Yeah.
Probably. Although that's a pretty banging record front to back as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I think it's the only MCR record that I've listened to front to back. I guess I'm a poser. Sorry, guys.
No, they are. You're keeping it real.
So were they better off going with MGMT versus the management?
Ooh, I like this.
Well, it was somebody else already had the management.
Oh, is that what it
so
was?
they had to change their name.
And it's cheaper to put it on T-shirts.
Yeah.
I think MGMT
I think it's way
was
better as MGMT.
I kind of like
100%.
MGMT more. I mean, we've lived with it that way for 20 years. That's why. But the management sounds cool, but if it's all you're fighting with somebody else for it, MGMT's not a bad, second place.
Well, it begs the question. Like somebody could argue, like, well, I mean, is anyone going to remember that? It's confusing. And I would say, well, fuck yeah, I'm going to remember it because it did confuse me for a moment.
Exactly.
And I think about it. So forever, I'm going to know MGMT, and I'm going to be like, was that management or was that? It's kind of like getting into the argument with the Blink fans. Is it 182 or 182?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good point. You remember it because it's different. Because you have to, like, how do we say it? Is it the management or is it MGMT?
yeah. I mean, I'll go brand new. Terrible fucking band name.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Terrible at Google.
Terrible.
Well, for other
lots of-
reasons now. But
Yeah. Yeah. For other reasons now, but it was bad to Google before that too.
Yeah, I remember selling a brand new record on. No, it was their DVD that was like a giveaway in some magazine, and I sold it on eBay in like the mid 2000s, and that was a pain in the ass to position it, like brand new DVD, like
Brand new what? Blank? Is it blank?
you search that Die Hard comes up, Naked Gun comes
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
It's like anyway.
Not
But
the audience you
MGMT,
were looking for.
yeah, MGMT. I mean, that was unique. I think that was the
Mhm.
move. That was definitely the move. What about deep cuts? You're a second half truther, right?
What do you mean?
You love the second half.
I like the vibe.
The vibe. So what? Any deep cuts that you dig?
No, I mean, it's the vibe. Like, it's more just, like I said, I probably hadn't listened to the back half of this record in over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't have told you
Song
what was
titles,
on it,
yeah.
like
I'm right with you.
nothing. So it was just enjoyable for me. I listened to the album like twice this week, like in some car rides, and was like literally just smiling. Again, it's not as authentic, and it felt like, it's funny you said that. The first thing I thought is like, sounds like they wrote a lot of this while they were hanging out in the studio.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. Like, that's rad. That is also super fucking talented to just be like, well, we have to set the drums up, or we have to make an album. We have to do 10 songs. But I just remember smiling and being like, when did they get like Jeff Lynne in MGMT? Like, this is weird.
Yellow's a good call. I thought, and we do this, get ready to drink, everybody. Headphones record, for sure.
Yes.
Oh,
Like,
big time.
so many bells and whistles that you pick up on way better in headphones. Because I did both car and headphones. And I mean, the big songs, but even listening to the big songs, the singles, in headphones, you pick up stuff that maybe you don't pay attention to while it's coming on the radio.
Yeah, I did spin through a couple of the tracks. Like, I'm always obsessed with how a band ends a record, especially a record is interesting. So, like, Future Reflections, the last track. So I Walk in the Dogs. I did spin some through in like some noise cancelers, and I've always loved Kids for that, like just the sounds.
The
and
bass
like
line in Kids is all time.
Yep, and
it's pumped up, and
Hearing the kids in the background, and just the
all
stuff
the
you
little
pick up.
things that kind of the ambiance that makes it there. But I was hoping that I was going to have some of that experience on the back half of the record. But again, I was just a little bit like, meh. You know, there's cooler things to figure out on the bubbly sounds that are coming up, and like Time to Pretend, and like there's so much Fridman drum shit too that you kind of miss if you're not in headphones because of how kind of distorted and like overpowering it is in like a car stereo or something.
I do like doing both when we do these because different vibes, and depending on the record, it can open up a whole new world of appreciation for that record because of all the stuff that you hear that maybe you've been listening to in the car for way too long, and it's time to put it back on at headphones and give it the time it deserves.
To pretend.
Yeah.
10 songs. Perfect.
I love 10 songs.
10 songs. Generally, the fat is trimmed. Unless it's like a situation where maybe they were intending to go EP, and it's like, hey, let's just fucking extend this to a full length. But like typically, for me, that 10, like that's a sweet spot. 10, 11. Anything more than that, it's like
12.
You
12
get?
is about the number.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. You get to 15. You get interlude. Okay, fine.
My favorite
Intros.
is 11, where one is like doesn't matter where it's positioned. I'm only saying that because my album is actually set up exactly that way.
Oh.
But I really do truly love having like a 40-minute listening experience, which I think Oracular is exactly 40. I'm obsessed with like a 40-minute, 10 or 11. One of them's got to be something that sticks with you for like 2 minutes or less. And it's got to bridge a gap in the album somewhere. Like, doesn't matter where, but that's my absolute. If you're going to do an album nowadays, I think you got to cap it at 40, cap it at 10, sneak an 11th on there if it's like a creative bridge to something.
You said something in there that I want to point out, which is now. Like now, I don't think people can get away with an hour. People are
It's hard.
People's attention span's gone. And on the flip side, unless it's like a terror record, which you know it's going to be a half hour under, I feel like it's a little cheap to go under 30 minutes for an album. You know?
Give me 30 to 45.
Yeah,
no more than 45. I see 57. I'm like, I need to spend time here. Where if I see 40, it's like, all right, that's to and from work. I can do that. Or if you see 32, you're like, wow, I'm gonna listen to this 4 times. Like it's gonna be easy to listen to. So that 30 to 40 minute range is perfect for me.
Yeah, I mean, imagine like, say next month the Foo Fighters album comes out and it's an hour. I'm like, do I even want to jump in?
I mean, they did was it like 04 or something? They did the double album.
In your honor, it was 05. I think.
I've never listened to this. I've never listened to the acoustic. It's an acoustic one on there too, right? Like it's a rock one and acoustic one.
Yeah, the back.
I
the
fucking
back half.
love the rock album.
Yeah,
Really good. Yeah.
Like that's the one with Best of You on it or something, right?
Yep.
What a great tune. I've never listened to the other one, and I did go to Blue Moose and physically buy that.
You just bought the first disc.
Yeah, and I don't think that thing probably never left the jewel case.
That's a sweet spot though. 40 minutes, 10 songs, and it's 40 exactly. So this was like run through an algorithm. It's like unique band name, unique dudes,
Before the algorithm even knew it
timeless
was
songs,
the algorithm.
10 songs,
But get some
40
unique
minutes.
sounds. Get something
Get a
that's
vet
going
in
to
there.
catch people's ear that isn't just a distorted guitar
Right.
or a club synth. Some of the bands that you were naming, like Block Party, I love some of their, but I mean, it's tried and true. LCD Sound System had been doing it long before.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
get some new sounds in there. Get something that's going to perk people up and be like, this sounds different,
Mm-hmm.
yet all the hooks are there.
Electric Feel is, what was it, PS4?
PS3, baby.
PS3. Perfect Songs 3 episode, which Kevin joined us for number 4, as we said. That is a perfect song for me. It is timeless. It's tried and true. My kids liked it. I played it for them.
Isn't it about sex? Didn't you tell us it was about sex?
Did I?
I thought you did that
I
day. Or
think I
maybe
did.
Spose did.
That's right. You have a better memory than me. I forget this stuff. I did not tell them that. They'll come later in their teens.
No, not your kids. The night that we recorded the episode.
No, I know. I'm just
Okay.
having fun with it.
Not asking you to give them the birds and the bees just yet.
They'll come.
Cool. I think that hit it. Oh, we're probably a little over 40 minutes. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We're harping on.
You assholes in your 110-minute episodes.
All right, let's talk legacy then. Let's land this plane. How do you look back at 18 years later? We all pretty much weren't there from day one, but we've lived with this for 15 years. How does it, as you look back, how does it sit with you now?
Pretty much how we've been describing it, like unbelievable first half.
Yeah.
I probably won't go back and listen to the second half for another 10 years if I ever do again. No offense to them, but the body of work they've put out since Oracular has cemented them as like, anytime an MGMT thing comes out, I'm going to be running to listen to it, and I'm going to want to know the production. I'm going to be super pumped to be caught off guard, hopefully, every time by what the vibe is and how they've changed this time around. But this one is, the song Kids Alone is going to be used forever. Long after we're dead, generations after are going to be, that will have revival after revival just because of how unreal that tune is.
That was going to be something I was going to ask you guys, which is, do you think this current generation not only knows these songs but appreciates them? It sounds like, yeah. Do you still hear it out in the wild, these songs?
Out in the wild, it's been a while, but the wild is so curated now. It's hard, right?
Yeah.
Like if we threw the radio on, would we hear it? Maybe.
We might.
But if I'm doing my thing, it doesn't always come into my sphere. But that's not to say that I wouldn't want it to.
Right.
That's part of, it's because it's 18 years old. Like maybe it's not going to be pushed on me and what like the new stuff is going to be. So it's amazing. And you're right. I think Kids is a song that like I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't heard somebody try to cover it and change it up a little more. Maybe they have. If they have, DM us. I've never seen it. Probably because of how cool it is, and like don't mess with it. It's already perfect.
Yeah, I think so. We're 18 years out. Like, think of, and I'd have to do some Googling, but like, think of other bands that maybe broke at this time with a big album. A lot of them, maybe that you just got one album out of them.
Yeah.
Or maybe they pumped out a few and they didn't hit. I think time is the equalizer. And I think I would say I probably appreciate it more now.
Yeah.
It's timeless.
Yeah, it was a perfect time for me to do it because I can definitely appreciate it more now. I'm attempting the same thing in my version of a dorm room.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of albums that either were commercially successful or that I happen to like from a band that broke through, you listen back and it doesn't connect. I think this does.
Yeah, it doesn't always. You're right. I mean, sometimes we think about doing these and we're like, listen to that. I'm not sure it's one that I want to spend an hour talking about.
100%.
It does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
This one still hits. Kevin, thanks for having us over, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming to the basement.
Project manager.
Correct.
Song is out. Link in the show notes. Go spin that 100 times today.
Worth the scan.
Put it on while you're sleeping. Just turn your headphones down. Just let it run all night.
Kevin, always a pleasure. This is appearance number 4, right?
I think so, yeah.
You're climbing the
Perfect
ranks, my
song.
friend.
I think so.
Green Day,
Dave.
honorary Dave host. I think you said 5 words, and now this.
Yeah.
The end of the episode in that one, though. So
So thank you.
No, thanks, guys.
And if you're listening, let us know how we did on the MGMT. I almost said MGMTV. MGMT recap here. We'd love your opinion. We'll be back next week. Thanks for hanging out with us. See ya.
peace, buttheads. Thank you for listening to Podioslave. We are at Podioslave on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the places that you can find us on social media. Facebook, Podioslave Podcast. YouTube, Podioslave Podcast there. Email us at podioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And hey, if you want to become a supporter, click on the link at the bottom of the episode and give us $1, give us $5. It keeps the lights on, keeps us going. We really appreciate that stuff. Thank you.